Hey, yo, everybody. Jeff Johnson from the Gazette here with K.J. Pilcher with Jeff Linder for a special semifinal episode of our Prep Huddle, Prep Football podcast. Stone time, gentlemen. Stone time. So let's get her going. Should we dive right into to all the games here? And then I'll let you go what you think. We're taping this on Tuesday, and Wednesday is when everything starts getting going with A-Player. And again, all at the Uni Dome in Cedar Falls. 10 a.m. game is Audubon 10-1 against Cumberland and Nina Messina at 11-0. And then Easton Valley 11-0 at Remsen St. Mary's 11-0. What do you think? Let's start with A-Player, boys. What do you think about these matchups and maybe some predictions? Let's do some predictions just to show everybody what we don't know.
I think the Audubon Cam game is going to be terrific. I think, maybe that's the championship game, but the other two teams are really good too. And Remsen St. Mary's hasn't lost a game in a couple of years. And, it's still hard to dethrone the king.
Easton Valley is kind of a heavy, so that'll be interesting to see how that works out, in perfect conditions like that. And I'm trying to think which team beat Don Bosco. That was Audubon, right?
I'm not sure. How's that for an answer?
I'm gonna pick Cam and Easton Valley in this one. I don't know why. Just a thought. Easton Valley's had a run of some great athletes, so haven't they, boys, here in the last 3, 4, 5 years?
Yeah, they really have. I'm gonna go Cam and Remsen St. Mary's.
Cam and Remsen. KJ, what do you got?
Oh, I'll split the difference. I'll go Remsen and Audubon.
Remsen and Audubon. The Wheelers. Let's move then to Thursday, where we have a full day of and night of activity. Starting with Class A at 10 a.m. is East Buchanan 10-1 against West Hancock 11-0. Then 1 o'clock it's Woodbury Central 10-1 against Grundy Center 10-1. Let's talk about those two games, I guess, boys. East Buchanan and West Hancock, to me, are incredibly similar teams in what they want to try and do offensively, and that is run the football, then run the football, then run the football, and then maybe run the football some more. Do I have that right?
I think the fourth one is either run the football or punt. So, not many points are going to be scored in that. Nobody's gotten more than 7 points in a game against West Hancock this year. I was just kind of doing some prep work on that, and they're going to be really hard to score on. But East Buchanan's defense has been really, really good the last couple of weeks. I think if somebody can get to 14 points, they have to like their chances in this one.
It's funny you mentioned the rushing, the run first mentality here. Just looking, East Buchanan has rushed 515 times, for 3,500 yards, 471 times for West Hancock, 3519 as far as yardage there. Both of them are within a pass of each other. East Buck has thrown it 54 times. West Hancock 53. So JJ, just to echo what you said, this might be the fastest semifinal game we've seen that didn't include St. Ansgar, I think, which was kind of in the same offensive philosophy. So I got to see East Buck against Mason City and was really impressed. Mason City Newman, and really impressed with their poise and their toughness. I think it's going to keep them in there. I think this is going to be a close game. But it's going to be a tough one for them to overcome. But I think they're going to be right there in it.
It's been a hell of a run. This is the first time in the semifinals for East Buchanan in 25 years. So it really has. It's been a great season, and lost early to Northland, which obviously we know is a great football team this year, and Northland got upset, in the playoffs, and East Buchanan didn't have to face Northland. So yeah, great story. The Bucks are a great story. It's interesting to talk to Coach Jerry Alden just about how he thought last year they had maybe a dome caliber type football team too, but they played without their quarterback, Keaton Kelly, and then their top runner, Adam Hackett. Both were hurt, didn't play at all last season. So they're back for their senior years, and certainly have helped make this a pretty special season. What do you think about the other game, guys? 2-10.
Before you go on to that, JJ, the only thing
yeah.
I'm going to add is keep an eye out on Cody Fox. I believe he's somebody that's already committed to the University of Iowa.
Good point.
He has 66 and a half tackles. 40 of them are solo, but 20 are tackles for loss, and there's 8 sacks there. Obviously, he probably won't be rushing the passer much just because of the way this game is going to play out. But the tackle for loss, that could be a big disruption if, one, if he's able to make plays like that, or two, if he's able to occupy multiple defenders and free up those linebackers to be able to make plays.
You got to think Wes Hancock knows who he is and probably isn't going to try and run maybe his way. You never know, I guess. But Grundy Center, Woodbury Central. First of all, what are your predictions on both games, I guess, if you want to talk a little bit about Grundy Center, which is back at the Unidome, had a nice little run here, and Woodbury Central, which is had a really nice season as well out in Western Iowa. What are your picks, I guess, in these two games, guys?
I'll go Grundy Center and West Hancock.
Same here.
I'm not going to be different. I think it's going to be the same thing. So I think we're all on the same page there, which means, of course, it'll be East Buchanan and Woodbury Central. So Thursday, the later session begins at 4:00 in Class 4A, the semifinals. Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, 9-2 against Waverly Shell Rock, 10-1, and then at 7:00 it's Winterset, 9-2 against Cedar Rapids Xavier, 10-1. Heard a lot of good things about this Waverly team, which is also pretty young. A lot of great athletes. Lewis Central's been a traditional power here of late in the last 4 or 5 years, produced some D1 type college talent. And, we all know about Xavier, and Winterset's kind of maybe a newbie up there as far as semifinals go. Guys, what are your thoughts on those two games, and give me your picks, I guess.
You talk about Winterset being a dome newbie. I think this is their first playoff appearance since 2014 or 2015. So it's been a while since they've even been in the field of 16. So, I think first of all, they're both going to be really good games. It's going to be interesting to see how Xavier can contain the really good back of Winterset. I think they've got a 2,000-yard rusher. I think both games are going to be a touchdown or less. I'm going to go Xavier and Lewis Central.
KJ, what are your thoughts on these two games here?
I think Xavier has really, I don't want to say blossom. That sounds like a silly word, but they've really developed into a better team throughout the year. At the beginning of the year, I didn't think they'd even be in this position, to be honest with you. I thought after they lost to North Scott, it was a good team, but not a great team. But I think this is a team that ends up playing for a championship next week. It'll be a close game, I'm sure. Winterset has some good multi-sport athletes. You look at the quarterback, was it Kleemeyer? He's effective. Dawson Forgy has had an amazing year running the ball for them. So obviously their line's good, but I just think it's Xavier coming out of there, and Waverly Shell Rock has been a team that I thought was a sleeper, I guess, a little bit, but which sounds silly since they're a semifinal team. But I thought if there was a team that could, cut in there and give North Scott a go, it was Waverly Shell Rock. Obviously, the core knocked off North Scott. We won't see that, but I think it's going to be Waverly, Shell Rock, and Xavier in the finals.
Boy, it's interesting to me, guys, that when you look at Xavier's kind of path here, it's played three really heavy run teams, right? When you look at, we all know the Burlington, that was pretty much all Burlington did. And then Webster City last week with the single wing, and now Winterset with a guy that's, rushed for 2,200 yards. So is that an advantage in a way, that they played three kind of similarly minded teams from an offensive standpoint?
Obviously Winterset and Webster City are probably two totally different schemes. I think just about everybody in Webster City are two different schemes. So, but yeah, I think I certainly think it helps.
I don't know if I really classify Winterset with those two other schools. I mean, those two other schools, if I remember right, only average like 5 passes a game. I think Winterset throws, 3 times that. I think it's a team that could burn Xavier with the pass, because I think that's their weakest element as far as their team units. It's their pass defense, but they make up for that with their front seven. So I mean, I don't know if I'd classify Winterset in the same boat as those two other schools.
I'm gonna go.
I think this is a team that could do damage with the pass. I don't think that was the case with the other two.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Did you guys pick who you're going with here? Xavier. I'm going to go with Xavier and Waverly. What did you guys say?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Xavier. So let's move on then to Friday. 4 more games. Class 1A starts us off at 10 in the morning. Dyersville Beckman 11-0 against Van Meter 11-0, and then 1 o'clock ish will be Dyke New Hartford 11-0 against West Sioux 10-1. The 3 undefeated teams and West Sioux, which has been kind of a traditional power out there in Western Iowa. First things first, can Beckman beat mighty Van Meter?
Oh boy, Beckman's had a terrific year. Really good running attack with Owen Hintergarth. I think that's how it's pronounced. Atwater's done a terrific job coaching that team. Just a really physical group. Van Meter's, probably one of the best 1A schools we've seen. This Van Meter team, and they're on. I'm not sure I don't think they've lost a regular season game, and I think maybe they've lost 1 regular season game in the last 5 or 6 years. I think they've got a humongous regular season winning streak going. They've been to the championship game, 2 or 3 times. I think they just have 1 title to win to account for it. Runners up in 19 and 20. I just think, I've said it a few times. I just think it's their year. I just think they're the best team in 1A, and that would be my pick to win this weekend next. So, who's the other one? West Sioux and Dyke.
Yeah, Dyke and West Sioux. Yep.
I'll go Dyke. Dyke New Hartford against Van Meter in the final.
KJ, you look at this Van Meter team and the schedule.
You know, the thing about that is you look at their resume and they have a win over Williamsburg and a win over Winterset in back-to-back weeks, that both of those teams are semifinalists in two larger classes.
Yeah. And Winterset's 3 classes up from them.
Yeah. So, I mean, that tells you a lot right there. I know ACGC, I think, challenged them for a little bit, but Van Meter pulled away from them. You know, Beckman has had an excellent season. You know, they've had some individuals that have done great. I think Owen Hunergarth right off the bat. And he's, to be honest with you, he's somebody that we're going to have to look at for athlete of the year consideration as a finalist, because his numbers have been great this year. Probably going to be, God, I would think, if voting goes the way it should, an all-state consideration in 1A. He's a state medalist in wrestling, and he's an all-stater in baseball. A heck of a hitter and a good catcher. So, you know, Beckman's done some great things. I think it's a sign of the future under Coach Atwater that this program is going to keep climbing. And I just think Van Meter's just in a spot where they're still big brother, not necessarily big brother, but they're still going to be the one to come out. But I see Beckman maybe being the team in the future that is playing for titles.
I think Beckman's going to have to really control the clock if they're going to compete or, you know, make it a 4-quarter game. I think they're going to have to control the clock, keep the ball away from Van Meter, and finish some drives.
I agree, guys. You know, great season. No matter what happens Friday, you know, these boys from Beckman have a ton to be proud of. I think Mark Atwater is certainly an up and coming coach. That I wouldn't be surprised if he, you know, is at the 5A level someday, perhaps soon, if he wants to.
I think right there is your key. If he wants to, I think he's very, very happy at Beckman. He's made that pretty clear a couple times. He said he has told me that he considers himself a small school guy, even though he went to Lindmar.
I hope that it's a good game. I just think Van Meter's too good, guys. I'm going to go with Van Meter, and I think West Sioux gets Dyke New Hartford. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's a team. I was just kind of looking at some of the stats of the Falcons. They throw for, you know, 2,729 yards and run for 2,053, and their best skill guys are juniors. The quarterback, Dylan Wiggins, is thrown for 2,500 yards, 32 touchdowns. And then their leading rusher is also a junior. Carter Boltman has 1,129 yards rushing. So I don't know what it is. Western Iowa always seems to represent, right? So I'm gonna go Van Meter and West Sioux are my picks there in 1A. So
Did KJ?
I have Dyke New Hartford and Van Meter.
Okay. Sorry about that, Pilch. I thought that's what you would take.
No, so I just didn't share the Dyke New Hartford one. I mentioned Van Meter before, so no biggie.
Yep. Friday night then, or Friday late afternoon and night is Class 5A semifinals. 4:00 Ankeny 9-2 against West Des Moines Valley 9-2, and then Iowa City High at approximately 7:00 will play Southeast Polk in a pair of a matchup of a pair of 10-1 teams there. Guys, we talked a lot about is it Central Iowa dominance again this season? And I think we all kind of agreed we have to wait until the playoffs and see how that kind of played out to kind of form an answer. And here we are again, 3 of the 4 teams in the semifinals are teams, suburban Des Moines teams from, I guess, non-football wise, you call them the Central Iowa Metro League. So Do we have our answer that it's still Central Iowa's deal in 5A?
Yeah, hard to argue that, even though I think maybe the gap's a little closer.
I agree with that. I think we're going to find out a lot about City High this week. And, I know we found out a lot when they played Dowling and won at home. Can they hang with one of the big wigs on a neutral site? I don't know. I wouldn't bet the farm against them. I think City High's really good. They were their win last week against Kennedy was absolutely no fluke. And they were the better team against Kennedy. They outgained them more than 2-1, and they out-physicaled them, they out-tempoed them, and I think if they played 10 times, City High probably wins 7. So, I think Southeast Polk has probably maybe too many athletes. I would say Southeast Polk wins, but it wouldn't blow my head off if they didn't. I'll go City High and Ankeny. Or I'm sorry. I'll go Southeast Polk and Ankeny, but I certainly think City High is going to be within 2 touchdowns and might give themselves a chance to win it at the end.
KJ, what do you think?
I think Southeast Polk is a team that's very talented. Obviously, they've got Division I talent on both sides of the ball. The one thing that I've heard from others about Southeast Polk is they play to their competition, and that now that you're in the semifinals, I think you might end up seeing the best version of Southeast Polk than you've seen all season long. I think Iowa City High can hang with them. I think they're a team that can compete. I mean, they've got great athletes. You just look at their top 3 leading tacklers in Ben Keeter, Gable Mitchell, and John Klosterman. They're gonna be able to hold their own. Darren Richardson has done a good job as their leading rusher. The quarterback tandem, has done a good job, kind of sharing duties there with Tron and Larson. But I just don't know if they're quite there if Southeast Polk is at their best. So I guess I'd probably lean towards Southeast Polk in a very competitive, hard-fought game.
Who do you have in the other one, Pilch?
I think I don't know really much about either team. I know Valley won 38-35 in the regular season. You mentioned how strong Ankeny looked against Prairie. It's going to be a close game. What the hell? I'll go with Ankeny to get a little bit of revenge there in the semis.
I'm going to pick Ankeny too. I don't, and I'm probably biased because I've seen Ankeny, haven't seen Valley. And I know that Valley won that first game in the regular season, 38-35, which obviously either team could have won. Great quarterback at Ankeny, a junior, J.J. Cole, who's got offers from tons of big-time schools, both the state schools. Florida State's offered him. Son of former Iowa State kicker Jamie Cole, actually. And they have a really good running back, too. That's a D2 kid that's going to play at, I think it's Minnesota State. I don't know. I'm just going to go Ankeny. It's hard to beat, a really good team twice, right? So I'm going with that. City High, I don't think there's any question City High can play with Southeast Polk, and Southeast Polk got, basically just got by Dowling last week in a very good football game as well. I'd love to see an Eastern Iowa representation in the championship game. I'd love to see an Eastern Iowa finalist, quite frankly, finally. But that being said, I just think, Southeast Polk somehow finds a way to get this done. And gets to the championship game. The Rams haven't won one yet, right? Ankeny's your defending champ, so probably a little bit of motivation there too. I would think on that part. So I'm just going to go Ankeny Southeast Polk for yet another all five big class Central Iowa love fest, I guess. So let's go. Saturday's our final day of semifinals. We'll start with Class 2A. Those are our day games. 10 a.m. is Southeast Valley 10-1 against Waukon 10-1. And then following that game will be Williamsburg 8-3 against West Lyon 9-2. Guys, we talked amongst ourselves here before our pod. Just the Williamsburg just seems to do what Williamsburg does every single year. Played incredibly tough non-district schedule, get beat up a little bit, rebound once district play rolls around and makes the deep run into the playoffs. No different there. Waukon, your defending champ, is also back in the semifinals. What do you think about these two games?
I think we're looking at two fun games. Williamsburg did what Williamsburg does. Lost to Regina, Van Meter, and Solon. And I'm not sure there's a team in any class from 4A down that got tougher first three games than Williamsburg did. Maybe Central Lyon did, but that was the gauntlet. And then the competition eased, and they won 5 in a row to win their district, which I don't think really surprised anybody. Then they handled Clark and PCM, and I think the win against West Marshall really opened some eyes. That they're not only a playoff team, but maybe an elite team and a team that can hang with West Lyon. But on the other hand, you look at West Lyon, they beat Spirit Lake and Central Lyon George Little Rock handily in the first 2 rounds. So obviously they're very good, and their 2 losses were to good teams as well.
The thing about
KJ.
Williamsburg that really stands out to me, and we said how they've, taken their lumps early on, and it's allowed them to be battle tested. But after that stretch, they've only allowed more than one score once this season. They gave up 16 points to Regina. They gave up 20 to Van Meter. They gave up 28 to Solon, which that was a lot closer, I believe, at the start of the fourth quarter. Solon just kind of, I think, pulled away with 14 points in the final quarter. But Williamsburg's defense has been fantastic. They had 3 shutouts before only allowing 6 points to West Marshall. The only team to score multiple times against them was Mid Prairie in a 24-21 win there. But their defense could be a difference maker. And I think I'm going to go and say Williamsburg wins this, and I think their defense is going to be a big part of it. And then we'll see about that Williamsburg walk-on final next week. I'll go with walk-on in the other one.
Love it. Man, walk-ons, what a great run. Right, boys? 5 straight trips to the semifinals. They've had a couple titles here in the last 10 years. You just can't. To me, you just can't say enough about the job that Coach Bierman and his staff up there have done. They just they lost a ton of guys, right? Everybody. I think they've only had really 2 returning starters who have played much prior. 2 good ones, Lincoln Snitker and Pat Hennessy, obviously. But to get back to this point, are you as impressed, honestly, with what Waukon's got going on? Very similar to to a lot of other big time programs, right?
Yeah, and you look at week 1, and they got bopped pretty good by Waverly Shell Rock. I think it was 45-6, and you thought, back to earth for Waukon, and then they come right back and beat Decorah, which turned out to be an awfully good team. So I think that was really kind of a nice reset for them, and they haven't lost since. So I don't think any combination of these four teams getting to the finals would really surprise me at this point.
Correct. I agree. West Lyon lost 2 of his first 3 games to Esterville, Lincoln Central, and Sioux Center, and has come back and beat Central Lyon in the regular season, and then turned the trick again last week in the quarterfinals, 24-7. So, and we all know how great a program West Lyon has as well. I'm going to be a little bit of an Eastern Iowa homer here. I'm going to say Waukon and Williamsburg in the finals. How about that?
I'll be the contrarian. I'll go the other way. I'll go Southeast Valley, and I'll go with West Lyon.
And Southeast Valley is Jeff, Prairie Gowrie, and a bunch of other former districts.
Well, oh boy. Once upon a time, there was Cedar Valley of Farnhamville. There was Prairie of Gowrie. That became Prairie Valley. I think Southeast Webster. I think that's where the southeast part of Southeast Valley comes from. There's a lot of little schools out there, kind of just a little bit west of Fort Dodge that make up that school system.
I'm going to retract my predictions, I think, a little bit. I'm going to go with Williamsburg still. But I think I might change my mind in the other one. I don't think we're going to have, I don't think it'll, I don't think we'll see Williamsburg walk on. I'm just going to change my pick there in the walk-on game.
Bingo agrees with you, by the way, if you can hear my cat in the background. Sorry about that. Class 3A, that's our last class here. 4:00. We got Solon 11-0. We got 4 11-0 teams, boys. This is about as good as it gets. Solon against Boyd and Ho Rock Valley, followed by Harlan and Humboldt. Solon kind of rallied late, blocked a punt, ran it back to beat West Delaware in a great quarterfinal last week. These are 4 really good football teams. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, 4 11-0s, and is it just me, or is Solon? I mean, it seems kind of crazy to say it, but has Solon kind of been under the radar this year? Maybe. What do you think? I was surprised that they were that they came back and won the way they did. With I think they were down 19-9 and had the ball deep in their own territory with 5 minutes to go, and I think they got a big run and then a screen pass for a touchdown and blocked a punt for another touchdown. So and pulled that off. So really, really good year for them. They kind of handled everybody in their district, and but I'll tell you, Boyd and Hull Rock Valley is very, very good. They've got a really good passing game. I'm going to go Boyd and Hull Rock Valley, and I'm going to go with Harlan.
KJ, what's your analysis here?
I just look, someone finds ways to win. We talked about how they have a win over Williamsburg, scoring 14 points in the second or the fourth quarter. They've beaten Assumption twice this year. Their playoff road was Assumption and then West Delaware. And you mentioned, they're come from behind victory. In Manchester, you've got a really good quarterback in Blake Timmons. You've got a good rush attack led by Sean Staley, who's over 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. Timmons spreads the ball around pretty well. I think he's got 3 or 4, maybe even 5 receivers who are beyond like 10 receptions or close to that. They have over 105 tackles for loss on the defensive side. I think this is probably more of a really a complete team. And 14 takeaways, I think, or 22 takeaways. Well, what the hell? I'll go with Solon. I think they have some very good pieces, and I think they might be able to get to the championship game against Harlan. But I think Harlan is Harlan. Uh, they're the team to beat no matter what. And I just don't see Humboldt doing it. And I think I favor Harlan against the other two teams next week as well.
Well, it's always a good thing too when you look at Solon and your quarterback, your leading passer, and your leading rusher are both going to come back next year. They're just juniors, so we'll very likely see the Spartans back in this situation next year if health holds out. Knock on wood. A lot of good pieces coming back, but I just think BHRV is a little too much for them here in the semifinals. I like Harlan as well, though I got to give a shout out to Coach Elman at Humboldt, who's done a great job. We've kind of developed a little bit of a online friendship. Sent his son, a huge Twins fan, God bless him, autographed Byron Buxton card through the mail this summer. So I got to give a shout out to Caden Matson, their quarterback. Guys, I don't know if you've looked at his stats, but he's thrown and rushed for almost right at about 4,000 yards this season. And he's got 47 touchdowns, both rushing and passing. So an amazing individual season from Caden Matson, Humboldt's quarterback. With that being said, Harlan's been in this situation, obviously, and I agree. I think it's going to be Harlan and BHRV and kind of more of a Western Iowa final in 3A. So we're all going to be up at the Dome at various points, folks, this week. So please join us online at thegazette.com. We'll also IowaPrepSports.com. Jeff's working on some capsules and things like that to lead us into the semifinal week here. This is fun. This is the best time to me, guys. Semifinals, and I think it's going to be some good football games, right?
Yeah, you don't get here if you're not a good team. So
that's right. That's 100% right. So, anybody with any closing thoughts before we sign off?
I'm good.
I don't think so. Just excited
all right
for this weekend.
Yep. KJ, Jeff, thanks very much. Nathan, hope that cold gets better. Thanks for joining us on another edition of the Iowa Prep Football Huddle. Well, you get the idea. You followed us all fall. So, and we will once again, as always, let KJ take us out.
Keep your head on a swivel.